President Trump got to celebrate his return to the Oval Office last night, attending 3 inaugural balls. The president brought his signature moves to the commander-in-chief. Inaugural ball dancing to YMCA, a song he frequently played on the campaign trail and continues to do so. Trump, joined by Vice President J.D. Vance, says they used swords to slice a cake celebrating their first day in office. The president thanking supporters last night during an appearance at the Liberty Ball.
We're going to be, I'd like to say we are a great nation. We will soon be the greatest we've ever been, and that won't take long. So I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Special people, and we'll see you soon. Just watch what happens. It's going to be big progress.
The president also attended a third celebration, the Starlight Ball, which featured major campaign donors on the guest list.
Meantime, President Trump wasted no time in advancing his new administration's agenda.
The president's been busy signing off on executive actions and orders. They include pardons for January 6 rioters, 1,500 of them, and new action on immigration, DEI, and the military. Natalie Duddridge joins us now on more on what the president has done very quickly.
Very quickly, and that was just day one. Now day two, let's see what happens. Second Trump administration. So yesterday he signed this flurry of executive orders that includes pardoning January 6 defendants. President Trump also declared a national emergency on the southern border and signed an executive order to try and end birthright citizenship.
So now the work begins. We won, but now the work begins.
Immigration and border security front and center as President Trump announced construction of the U.S.-Mexico border wall is restarting.
All illegal entry will immediately be halted.
Trump announced international gangs like MS-13 are now classified as foreign terrorist organizations, granting federal agencies new powers to arrest and deport their members.
America's decline is over.
The president is also attempting to end birthright citizenship through executive order.
We're just criminalizing people. We're just attacking communities and want to put the blame on immigrant communities.
In a controversial decision, Trump pardoned more than 1,500 January 6 defendants, including Stuart Rhodes, leader of the Oath Keepers, who was sentenced to 18 years in prison. The president repeated claims that have not been proven.
There were outside agitators involved. And obviously the FBI was involved.
The White House says the order requires the Bureau of Prisons to take immediate action. This former D.C. police officer expressed outrage.
I have been betrayed by my country, and I've been betrayed by those that supported Donald Trump. Tonight, 6 individuals who assaulted me as I did my job on January 6th, as did hundreds of other law enforcement officers, will now walk free.
The president also signed an executive order withdrawing from the landmark Paris Climate Agreement.
We will drill, baby, drill.
Drilling is back in federally controlled parts of Alaska. And Trump is also switching back the name of Alaska's tallest mountain to Mount McKinley, reversing an Obama-era decision backed by Alaska's 2 Republican senators to call it Mount Denali.
And Trump also announced the creation of a new Department of Government Efficiency called DOGE, which critics argue is too secretive and designed to benefit billionaire backers like Elon Musk, who is set to run this project. At least 4 federal suits have already been filed in Washington to seek to block that. Chris and Mary.
All right, Natalie, so while we've got you here, among the president's executive actions, the U.S. now pulling out of some global organizations agreements. Can you tell us about that?
So we'll talk about 2. The president announced the withdrawal from the Paris Climate Agreement. It's the second time he's announced the U.S. would abandon this accord, which former President Biden later rejoined. And critics say it's a blow to worldwide efforts to combat global warming. Trump also signed an executive order beginning the process of withdrawing the U.S. from the World Health Organization. This is also the second time in less than 5 years that he's ordered the country to withdraw, despite this being a move many scientists fear could roll back decades of gains fighting infectious diseases. Chris and Mary.
Natalie Duddridge. Natalie, thank you so much. The president also signed off on orders putting an end to diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in the federal government. Another declares the federal government will only recognize 2 sexes, male and female. That's including an official document like passports, visas, global entry cards. The move has the support of Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman, who banned transgender athletes from competing in girls' sports at county facilities. The founder of Trans New York, who is a transgender woman, says she's worried about the impact of the president's actions.
This is detrimental to children. You're going to see a lot of discrimination rise. It's already risen, and more hate. and it's really dangerous.
Nothing more than divisive attempts to marginalize entire communities and roll back decades of progress.
While there are many legal protections here in New York, civil rights advocates we spoke with worry about the wider impact and expect the president's order to be challenged in court.
In some of his final acts in office, former President Biden issued a series of unprecedented preemptive pardons. They were meant to guard against possible retribution from the Trump administration. He issued pardons for his 3 siblings and their spouses. Biden also approved pardons for Dr. Anthony Fauci, retired Joint Chiefs Chairman General Mark Milley, and members of the House committee that investigated the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Biden also commuted the sentence of Leonard Peltier, the indigenous activist convicted in 1975 for killing 2 FBI agents. Peltier, now 80, was serving life in prison but was in failing health. Former FBI Director Christopher Wray had urged Biden not to do this, and law enforcement groups slammed the move. Native American groups praised the decision, saying the case had represented historic injustices against their community. Peltier's cause has long been championed by famous musicians like Harry Belafonte, Stephen Van Zandt, and Rage Against the Machine. Peltier's lawyer says his release date was tentatively set for February 18th.
Stay with CBS News New York for continuing coverage on the first days of the new Trump administration. For a look back at the inaugural events in Washington, you can find a complete wrap-up on our website.